I feel like whatever game you playing is a selfish one.
You said that to me.
It's not considerate of any other party that it involves.
It's about raising the numbers. I keep telling you that to me. It's about adding my value, raising numbers to play. Like you turn into a fucking Harvard University. So now it's still about me maintaining who I am and showing value. I got more to not prove, but
at the cost of the people involved around you.
But
and
that's
just
where
so
the COE part come in though.
I don't really think it's
and
at
just
the
so
cost,
we're
though.
clear,
The
value that he sees in that, I don't see
He
the
said
value
that,
in that,
yeah.
and I explained that.
You did.
Any added engagement that it brings, I could do without it.
That's what he said.
And it ain't bringing me an extra buck. It ain't bringing an extra subscription.
Right.
Like last year, all your ideas led to that.
Right.
It kind of culminated in money and subscriptions, which equals value. But all of this other, I don't, and this company don't see value in YouTube views and some engagement here and engagement farming and just certain tricks. Like that's not what this is. This ain't run up that. And I just have the utmost amount of respect for you and how you run your business. But it's just times where the worlds collide when they don't have to.
Yep, I accept that.
Like the heel that you are, or whatever it is that you're doing, like be open to the fact that you're more than that here. You're more than that here.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Elevation here with another episode of the JBP Elevated, where we speak on the Joe Budden podcast and all of his co-hosts on and off the pod. It's a doggone shame how often Joe has to catch himself admonishing Flip. And not in the admonishment of scolding, but having to constantly tell Flip what's right and what's wrong. It's a doggone shame how often Flip catches himself in this predicament to where he's having to be admonished by someone that should be his peer. But I understand why he views Joe as a mentor, because in essence, Joe is his mentor. He is a protege. If Flip comes out better than he was when he entered the JBP, and then he ventures out on his own again, but is better, Joe can look at that as a protege. I don't know what the hell is going on as far as all the antics are concerned, but do not let Joe fool y'all with what he said at the end. YouTube is a heavy part of this business. If it wasn't so, I implore every single co-host to ask for part of the YouTube revenue, and watch how quickly that gets shut down. He'll give you all the spiel in the world about it not pertaining to business and the revenue from it means nothing, but he wants to own his IP, yada, yada, yada. You can't go post anything from the Joe Budden podcast anywhere else, whether it's on YouTube or any other platform. So the IP talk is dead to me. Ask him for a part of the YouTube revenue and see how quickly he shuts that shit down. But anyway, Flip, take this as a Goodwill Hunting moment. I saw that in one of the comments on Patreon. I was like, yeah, that's actually a good analogy. Take this as the moment where you stop not believing in yourself, and where you turn up full throttle, and you can just let go of every antic that you, quote unquote, feels bring value. You're already starting to see it on your own page. You're not doing the antics. You're not trying to be called skit nigga. You're not trying to be seen as COE anymore, even though that is a part of your quote unquote value. Joe is telling you, start operating like the business mogul that you can be. How many times have y'all heard me say 1.2 and 1.4 are one and the same to me? Well, this is Joe breaking down why they're not one and the same. And Flip's antics show why they're not one and the same. But if you actually sit down and take heed to any of the advice that's being spewed to you, because most of the quote-unquote hate that you receive is actually advice. If you would just sit and listen and actually implement it in your life going forward, you will see the difference it makes, and you will see how quickly niggas stop calling you the skit man or the antics guy. Mike Tyson was a loose cannon. He should be a case study. Mike Tyson was a loose cannon. Everybody clowned on him. He had a terrible, tumultuous past. But because of his rebrand, no one associates that with him anymore. And considering that you're always speaking on how you don't want to be the skit nigga anymore, or you don't want to be seen in the current light that you're seen in, why would you continue the antics that got you that light or spotlight in the first place? You could do a complete rebrand right now. And Joe is telling you the value that you bring isn't the antics. When has Joe ever made you do a skit? And I'm not saying you got to lose your energy. Just convert it differently. Revert. Change it up. Apply it to something different. You don't have to be braggadocious or rambunctious. You don't have to do all the stupid things that you no longer want to be associated with. When are you going to actually take heed to Joe's advice and stop looking at it as a boss telling an employee something to do? Even though this is what that relationship the two of y'all have, it's more of a mentor and a mentee. He's telling you these things, so when you operate on your own again, you can ascend and continue to ascend and not find yourself in the situation that you found yourself when you initially came to the JBP. This is advice, Flip. This ain't even a critique. This is literal advice. Stop viewing what Joe tells you in privacy and in public platforms and on the podcast as just fodder or COE. And start taking it for the advice that he's genuinely trying to give you. There's a reason when he suspended you, he didn't want to talk to you. And you had to associate with Ian. Nigga, I care for you. He keeps saying that this is not the first time he said he's loved you and he's not trying to do anything to hurt you. Because I vividly recall when it was you and Joe on Matt Hoffa's podcast when it was doing numbers. And shout out to Matt Hoffa. And that's something else that needs to be studied, because I remember seeing clips on my algorithm every day for that shit. Now I don't see him at all. But I remember when Flip and Joe were on that, and they were talking about meeting up again. And Joe was like, I would never pod with Flip. So it's funny to see how far they've come from that. But if they paid, or if Flip paid more attention, he would be able to operate how Joe operates while doing his own thing. So it would still be your own thing, but you could continue to ascend and you'll no longer have the association that you're trying to lose. But that's just me. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Everything I say is speculation. I'm Mr. Conjecture. But anyway, I appreciate y'all. Hey, if this video does numbers, y'all are going to be proving something to me. So y'all take a part of my case study and view this guinea pig episode for what it actually is. And I appreciate y'all, man. Like I said, multiple drops tomorrow. I'll see y'all in the morning. Y'all be safe. Peace.
Going to work, not really getting along the greatest with your co-host and still getting the job done because
the show must go on.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Professionalism
So,
by all costs, exactly.